This time on Q&J, drop the bass. Hey, where'd it go? Q and J. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Q&J. I'm really sorry it's been a while. I even got some requests asking me about if the series is dead and not. It's not dead. It's not even close to dead. Today is Thursday, December 18th. It's going to be, this video is probably going to be put up tomorrow, maybe tomorrow night, because I'm having rendering issues. But it's okay. So tomorrow or today, depending on when you're watching this, it's all good. Might be up tonight, might be up tomorrow night. So I'm having some Coke as well. Coca-Cola. So it's been good. I'm really sorry, as I mentioned. It's been a while, and the reason being is just I've been really busy at my other job, and I haven't had the time to sit down and do a Q&J. It's not dead. I'm going to probably switch it up to maybe every other week in the future, because that way I can probably get enough time to actually do it. But it's okay. So let's get to the Qs that need J today. And as I said, if some of them are out of date, we'll still talk about them quickly. It'll all be good. No problem. So, Brendan Campbell says, there was a white dwarf with the looted wagon rules in it, so the orcs can take it. Not 100% sure, but I think it's a black library page for free. Oh, it's very cool. Yeah, I'll double check that after. But yeah, I really should take the looted wagons, because I still have tanks. And looted wagons are fun. So Jay, you should think about getting a Mad Dog Grotznik to run with some orc knobs or mega knobs. The Rampage and Fearless is insanely fun. I completely agree. Orcs, I'm not even halfway done my orc army in the long run. I really want to get grot tanks in the future. That's kind of the first thing I want to get. But then, like some Squiggiths, and then a Stompa. I want to fill out my army. I want to get so many more things. Orcs aren't even close to being done. No. The paint challenge was a lot of fun, though, for Orktober. Dukenstein A1 says, smoke! LOL. Yes, because I used M-Smokes for my Halloween episode. See, it's almost Christmas now. I think I've only done, this is only like my second Q&J since Halloween. Oops. Maybe more. I don't know. It's been about a month and a half, so we'll see. Ryan Bridges says, hey Jay, it's not a supplement per se, it is a full part of the campaign story arc featuring NIDS. Yes, I completely agree. We're referring to featuring NID Sisters and Astro Militarum in the first book. Very exciting, as it will bridge the gap to release Blood Angels probably in January. Well, Blood Angels came out in December, obviously. I did a full codex review, ×2. Feel free to check out either of them. New NIDs are awesome. I agree. They're really sweet. I haven't got a chance to really use them, but they look good, and I've been watching a lot of battle reports with them, and they seem to be holding their own. What do you think of the potential Trigons making a comeback now that they can reliably support via new sport pods? I think dropping in a couple Carnifexes and Devourgons will be pretty neat, alongside a Trigon. To be honest, I wouldn't see a Trigon. Trigon Primes, I might see. Trigons themselves, no. The problem is they're not Synapse. You really want to keep that Synapse, so if you want to go Trigon Prime. But I don't know. They're not really heavy hitters. Molochs are, in my opinion, better. The biggest problem with Trigons is that they don't get to re-roll their hits anymore. They only, and they're only strength 6, and smash attacks you only get 1 attack at strength 10. So, as far as the heavy support goes, you got to bring either really crazy close combat more oriented ones like Carnifexes or the new guy, or I don't know. It's possible, but I just don't see the Trigons, especially the Trigons. Trigon Primes are better because at least they have more shots. They get 12 shots, and they're Synapse, so that's good. But Trigons themselves, I wouldn't see. Metal 8 Ball says 20 Death Gaunts. By that means the Devour Gaunts, not Flesh Borer. Means 60 Strength 4 shots on the drop. Very nice. I completely agree. And Ryan says, exactly, bud. Brings back memories. I agree. So I can't wait. I gotta get my Spore Pod painted up, but that's what I'm going to be talking about in a future video. I am actually going to be doing a 2-month painting challenge with Tyranids, so it'll be good. Tyranids are going to be my next painting challenge. I gotta get my Tyranids painted up and looking good for battle reports. J.A.R. Rat says Leviathan was a Tyranid supplement, and it's completely sold out online already. It's against the Blood Angels for sure, so Blood Angels are next up. Completely agree. Blood Angels were the next up. See, it's been so long, and some of these comments are hilarious. Yeah. I'll just say. And Blood Angels are pretty good. I think it's a pretty good dex. A bit streamlined, but it's not bad at all. No complaints. The Warp Smith says, "Sup Jay, sup Warp Smith. A few months ago I damaged my thumb. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. And then damaged it again a few days after. Oh no! And since then I've not had the will to pick up a brush again. Prior to this I was painting around 6 models a day, mixed between Chaos Space Marines and Cultists. Cool. Which was a big deal to me. I really wanted to get back in painting my army, even though my momentum was dead. Do you have any advice for getting back into the habit after leaving it for a while?" Yes, I do it. In fact, I kind of stepped away from painting for a while. Challenges. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself with friends. Group challenges. Try to get 1,000 points painted in a month like I've been doing. Another option is sign up for a tournament. Sign up for a tournament and tell yourself you're going to bring new models. And that way you have to paint the new models for a tournament. Tournaments are great for getting models painted because, especially if there's a 3-color minimum or something, you're going to have a great time painting them. That's what I definitely recommend. So I'm really sorry to hear about your thumb. Hopefully it's better by now because this was a kind of a month ago. But, yeah. And then another comment was by Metal 8 Ball, says the novels are great inspiration, which is true. You can read the novels and it really does get you into it. Or playing the video game. I like to play the video games as well. It really gets me wanting to paint. But yeah, to me the painting challenges alone have been huge. I've been enjoying it by insane amounts, and I painted about 2,300 points of 40k and about 35 points of Scorn. So it's been a good, successful few months painting challenges. And now my next goal is going to be Tyranids for the next couple months after this January, February. And I'm going to try to get a lot of points painted for Tyranids. So maybe I get a drop pod or two, the new Zoanthropes, the new monster creature with all the tentacles. It'll be fun. Fun, fun, fun. And more in battle reports. The Carnophage says, "I prefer airbrush primer myself. I am currently using Vallejo and just ordered some of the new Badger primer. An 8-ounce bottle normally lasts me about a year, and it costs less than 20 bucks. I completely agree. It doesn't last me a year, though. I use it a lot. I paint a lot. But I love airbrush primer. It's my favorite type of primer, too. I use primarily airbrush primer. Unless I was painting my Necrons and I was using Army Painter, the plate mail metal. Plate mail metal, that's what it's called. And yeah, I love it too. I use all 3 of the Badger Stynal Res primers, white, gray, and black, and they're amazing. I love them. No complaints at all. Love them. Next comment. "Hello Jay, thanks for the advice about painting gaunts a few Q&J episodes ago. This is by Y20K90. I've gotten them all cut up and painted. I'm also looking to get at least one of each of the new models for those NIDs and have to say they look amazing. I agree, they look really sweet. I'm sure a lot of people aren't a fan of the Maliceptor, but so long as it provides Synapse, it gains a spot in my NID army. Good. I'm not a big fan of it either, to be honest, but I'm glad you're giving it a chance. Just because it has one weird power doesn't make it a unit useless. It still has a chance to roll other powers in the NID table. True. Also, the Spores is providing an additional 6 inches of Synapse to nearby. It's pretty cool. I think it's great. To nearby Synapse creatures makes it amazing to have. I don't know how hard it is to keep most Synapse creatures on the field. It is, especially if your opponent knows. If your opponent's kind of a good opponent, will kind of pick apart a Tyranid army. Basically, if I was playing against a Tyranid army, I'd focus on the Synapse creatures, destroy them, and you're in great shape. Because then everyone else they're kind of the foundation of the army. You take it away, and everyone goes. But more the better. So I'm led to believe with all the doom and gloom on sites online saying how fragile Synapse creatures are. And I'll stop rambling now. Before I go, I have a couple of questions for you. You're an experienced veteran player of NIDs. Pretty much. I'm not the best, but I play them a lot. What's your favorite normal win/lose norm? And just how big of focus should one put on Synapse creatures? You should put a lot of focus into Synapse creatures, honestly. They are the foundation of your army. Because without Synapse, your things go berserk, and it doesn't help. Especially with, I like Hormigons. Hormigons to me are still one of the best. They're the best troops choice, I argue. Hormigons with Toxin Sacks are amazing. But outside of Synapse, they destroy themselves. So you really got to focus on them. My favorite win/lose norm. I don't know if I necessarily have one, but I love playing Tyranids regardless. I'm a Tyranid player through and through. Highs and lows, that's what it's about. I play Orcs high and low, Dark Angels, Grey Knights, and I just play them. You know, I love the armies. I play them regardless. Tyranids, the norm. I love the Moloch. He's one of my norms that I love. Even if he wins or loses, he's random and destroys stuff, and he's hilarious. I just have big focus. Yeah, as I said, big focus. And of the 3 big Nid fleets, which is your favorite? I'd say Kraken. Could be Leviathan. Good question. I have to think about that for a second. High Fleet Leviathan. High Fleet Kraken. Behemoth, actually. I think Behemoth is my favorite. Yeah, Behemoth. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Behemoth. I think that's it. I can't decide. I like them all. I'd say Behemoth. I like the red and blues. Yeah. Yeah, that's, you know. Sorry, my internet just reset, so I had to click on the thing to open it. Yeah, so thank you very much for your question. And this was, of course, by Y20K90. Roto Fury says, "Hey Jay, I've had a few questions for you today. I was wondering, do you think they will give an update for Sisters of Battle?" I really hope so. I think they will. I honestly think they will. Will they get ever new models? Probably not. I hope they get some plastic versions of their model. If they just made plastic versions of Sisters, the amount of Sisters sales would go through the roof. You know, because no one, I don't like the metal models. I'm not a big fan of them. And Sisters just don't get any love. And that's why no one loves them. Because they don't get any love from Games Workshop. And it's just this really bad positive feedback loop, you know? I think they will. I am mostly wondering, because a friend who collects Grey Knights is thinking about getting an allied force of Sisters, and they're looking into, it reminded me that they have yet to get a 6th or 7th edition codex. Yeah, they got a White Dwarf update in 6th. Yeah, it is a 6th edition, but it's a White Dwarf update. Oh, also, do you think any other armies will get new model kits for either the holidays or in general? Yes, Blood Angels. And what are your thoughts on conversions if they're not too crazy? I love conversions. I'm not good at them. I'm not a converter. I converted a couple models, like a Duma Malantai, which is a simple conversion. Turvagons when they first came out. I love conversions. I think conversions are what make certain armies just unbelievably special. Orcs especially. Orcs and conversions. Like Cody Rue / David. Cody Rue, whenever I saw his models on the table, it makes me want to play Orcs. Because the conversions are just fantastic. I love conversions. Now there's such thing as converting for a benefit, and then converting for fun and to make a themed list. And there are 2 different things. I like converting for a themed list, making a cool model look amazing. I'm not a big fan of people who purposely modify their models to get an advantage. That's a little different. Johnny Torrance says, they do have a 6th edition update. It's only digital only and iOS. Yes, exactly. They released an iOS iBooks version, but it's a White Dwarf update. Johnny Torrance says, "Oh really? Awesome. If I have to tell my friend, he will be happy to hear that. Thanks. I had not known there's a 6th ed update." Yeah. Sergeant Harker says, "More smoke. Insert Snoop Dogg joke here. Snoop Doggy Dogg. Rolling down the highway, sipping on gin and juice, yo." Kind of made it look like the computer was on fire or something like that. Now, that or Spock picked up a smoking habit. So the new Nids kit look really cool. I dig the new Venom from Zone Throw models. I think they look a bit better than the previous one. I think they look a lot better. They have a lot more character to them. They have giant heads. I like it. They had also their plastic, which is just beautiful. Beautiful. I hated the metal versions. Oh, they were so bad to put. They had a teeny tiny point of contact between the model itself and the base, like this much, and they just kept going. Also, these new drop pods. That's going to make games interesting, I hope. I think they're reinvigorating the Nids right now. This is Nids time. So I do have a quick question about Orcs of all things, but I was wondering what you thought about getting some more of them. I'm not sure about expanding the Orc army, but was wanting to use them for possibly an upcoming game of Only War, the Guardsman focused pen and paper RPG. But if, in theory, I was to possibly use this to maybe expand into my full orc army. That's cool. It's always great to add to orc army. Orcs have a 7th edition codex, so they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And they're one of the armies that you can have so much of a variety to and keep expanding. Like I have 6,500 points, and I still want to get more. I have knobs, a mech, and some boys. Thinking about a war boss. War bosses are essential. Get a war boss. They are the best HQ by far. Other than I really love mechs with custom force fields. War bosses. And flash kits. Love these models. Fits with the bad moons, which I was thinking of painting them up as well. But what do you think would be good to get start the army? If you had access, I would have definitely recommended the 2-player battle box. Not Assault on Black Reach, which is also pretty good. The one that came out recently, and Stormclaw. That would have been amazing because it has a war boss, and the war boss is just a great looking model. And knobs, which are a great addition. Grots, which are great cheap troop choice, and cans. So, otherwise, I'd recommend starting with a war boss. Check out eBay, for example. eBay would be great if you want to pick up that cool war boss. I keep saying war boss a lot, but Gruck Face Ripper, he's a great looking model, and he's pretty cool. So you may want to pick up Gruck on eBay. That's typically where you can find him because he's not available in stores anymore. Other than that, yeah, trucks with boys. That's a great way to start. Continue your army. It's foundation of most armies. Christopher Tucker says, "Hey Jay, hope you're well. I was thinking of getting an all-Imperial Guard force to ally with my Blood Angels, maybe 650 points worth for an 1850 points list, tourney standard in southwest England. Any suggestions on what you think I would bring to allow my Angels to be more close combat again? Thanks as always." What should you bring for Imperial Guard? I would just bring, all long-range guns. Imperial Guard, stand at the back, long-range tanks, manticores kind of thing, and just as much long-range firepower. Even Russes would be solid too. As far as troops go, I always like vets. Vets are a great, plasma vets and melta vets are just a great, they accompany everything really well because they can wipe out some heavy hitters. And they also put some fear in your opponents so they might not come as close, and that way you can get the Alpha Strike with your Blood Angels. Of course, after the new Codex, Blood Angels, you're going to be taking Tactical Marines, probably, and your Assault Marines are going to suffer, unfortunately, because they'll be in fast attack, not in troops. Thank you very much for your comment, Christopher Tucker. But yeah, I'd recommend, fill in the gaps in your list. Blood Angels don't have a lot of anti-air right now. That's one of the things I would definitely fill in with your list. Choose the tanks that are good at anti-air, because most competitive tournaments will have a lot of flyers. So anti-air and with interceptor if possible. But that's what I recommend going for. Fill in the gaps, because Blood Angels don't have much. Well, thank you very much for your comment, Christopher Tucker. Cosmic Soybean says, "Hey Jay, I recently recovered my old Orc army. Sweet. I was wondering what your thoughts are on getting a mech or a group of tank busters." Mechs, they're good. I don't really have much use for them. I don't play with them very often. Tank busters actually really do have their use. And I really agree. They're a good elite slot. I don't take them. But a lot of people do, and they have great news about them. They're one of the kind of underrated squads of the Orc army. Because they can do really well against a lot of mech if you're facing them. So yeah, definitely check them out. I know a lot of people have had some really good results with them. I should get them. Also, I've been thinking of getting to Fantasy as well, and picking up a demon army. Ooh, demons. Since I like the concept of them, and they can be used in Fantasy and 40k. Any unit recommendations for them? Unfortunately not. I really don't know demons. For Fantasy especially. I don't play much Fantasy. And any suggestion I give would just be off the top of my head. If you like Nurgle demons, you may want to pick up the Glotkin. He looks awesome, and supposedly he's very good. All the new crazy Nurgle guys that you can get for the end times, that's probably what I'd recommend. Because I know that they're solid right now based on some reviews. But besides that, unfortunately, I really don't know Fantasy too well, especially demons. But thank you very much for your question, Cosmic Soybean. Purdius Prime, best intro, stuff, good stuff. Exactly. Dr. Octopus. Congratulations, Dr. Octopus. You know why. Dr. Octopus. In fact, I just finished painting Dr. Octopus's captain like 10 minutes ago. You can design your own knight on a new chassis or an existing one. What weapons does it have? What's it called? What color is it? What's your heraldry? Oh my goodness. Good questions. I'm a big fan of blue, so I would go Calidor Sky is my color. Blue and white. Blue Jays, essentially. You know, Toronto Blue Jays is blue and white. My heraldry would be a blue jay. Or a gray jay. They're intelligent birds as well. But a blue jay. And it'll be called the Blue Jays. The Blue Jay Knights. I mean, it's perfect. Blue Jay Knights. And I'd go on the same chassis as my favorite looking knight, honestly, is the Forge World Acheron. I really love the look of him. He, to me, is my favorite looking of the Forge World Knights, is the Acheron. And what weapon does it have? I would go with the same thing as the Acheron, a giant flamer, because it's just so fun to move up 12 inches and then have a 16-inch flamer weapon. It's just nasty. That or grav weapons. I think the new one. I haven't really checked out the new one. They released a new one. Not the Megara. It's same look as the Megara, and it has a grav weapon on it. That'd be a cool weapon too. I'd say a giant sword and a giant, the 16-inch crazy flamer. Torrent, yeah, maybe a torrent flamer. But thank you very much for your question, Dr. Octopus. I would say a blue jay, a crown, because they're the knights, and a blue jay. It would represent me. Yeah, plus I'm from Toronto. Toronto Blue Jays are just my baseball team. 1993, last time they were really good, but still. Joe Carter. Mark Keller. That's really crazy. Like, these names are just, yeah, Mark Keller now. Congratulations, Mark Keller. Yeah. Howdy, Jay. I'm having problems getting games in my local game store. I don't know why I'm giving you this accent, Mark Keller, but I'm going to do it. My local game store is a friendly environment, but the 40K group mainly consists of people who play competitively. I know the feeling. Which is fine, but not my cup of tea. I exactly know what you mean, Mark Keller. My friends have been putting off playing. One plays Nids and is utterly against them playing them until they get fixed, which is pretty recent, I'd say. The other one's a bad loser and gets so discouraged to play. I've tried to tailor my list to be vulnerable to theirs. We even spent about 2 months designing a campaign since we played a ton of D&D. Campaigns are actually what I'd recommend. That's actually a good suggestion. This board is just it's just sitting there, set up for the first mission. They seem to go around the subject when I ask about playing. Yet when I go play somewhere, they get angry with me. Uh-oh. Anyway, long-winded question. Any tips on trying to find a way of bringing up the topic? Or maybe you just have an experience like this before. BJ. Always. Be awesome, Jay. So thank you very much for your question, Mark Keller. I've had the exact problem. Peterborough, I'm trying to get people in. I'm slowly getting battle report opponents in. And my friends who I'm really close with, they don't really like 40K anymore. The guys who got me back into 40K have all abandoned 40K for years. And it's hard. But the key is, I'd recommend bringing up the topic with them. Just say, hey guys, I really like to play. And I think by a campaign is actually one of the cool things. Creating your own games is a way of balancing the game for fun, right? It's a really fun way because you can break the rules of like force organization, you know, and have a fun scenario. And scenarios can favor certain armies. Like you could make a NIDS favoring scenario. So that's actually a great suggestion. I just recommend bringing it up to them, talking to them about it. Be straight with them, you know? That's all I can recommend, Mark Keller. Because it's hard. Like I talked to my friends about this, and they were just like, "No, we're not playing anymore." So it's like it happens, you know. Unfortunately, and as far as that goes, it's hard because I still play for fun, and this happens in battle reports occasionally, where I kind of play for fun, and my opponent is playing for winner, and they trounce me. But it's just having a good time, and for me, I like to get to know my opponents, have great conversations with them, and that's it. So even if I'm losing, I can still lose and have a great time, you know? Just get to know your opponent, have some great conversations, you know, share your history of 40K. That's what I recommend. So very good question, Mark Heller. Hope this answers it. Ex-Lord Polox says, Jay, I'm fighting in a tournament on the 22nd. Oops, I'm really sorry I missed that tournament. And I'm thinking of taking a custom stomp at 600 points. Should I do it? Definitely. Hope it, please leave a comment, ex-Lord Polox, of how it went. But custom stompas are hilarious. I love stompas, especially ones with the custom force fields, because they're just amazing. They keep themselves alive, and they're awesome. They're one of my favorite orc units I don't have other than Grottanks. Hi, Jay. This is by Andrew McCormick. I think my second question for cutoff last week. Oh, no bother. Anyways, I'm looking to build a small homunculi covenant army, and would like some pointers on where to start. I would like a lot of HQ and paint engines, and I'm hoping to spend no more than I have to get a competitive list. I would also like to do some grotesques to paint blue as poor Tau. That's funny. So basically, if you're going homunculi, let's think out loud. You want, for your HQ, you would want, let's go over the list right now. It's pretty simple, because if you're doing homunculi coven, you got to bring either homunculi or racks. I recommend homunculi over racks. I like racks too. Racks are good too, but I like homunculi. There's, you know, I like them more. Rakarth, you could get Rakarth. Let's go over the Star Elder. I'd go with Urin Rakarth, probably, for HQ. Urin Rakarth, unfortunately he's out of stock right now, but Urin Rakarth and homunculi. Right? Solid HQs for your homunculus coven. So racks and grotesques, that's what I was saying, not homunculi. I meant grotesques. Racks and grotesques are both solid options. It depends on what you really want to go. Do you want to go multi-wound guys, or do you want to go, you know, a bunch? But I am a huge fan of I personally prefer racks, but grotesques are good too. So up to you. But both are a solid option. Depends on what you want to go for. You know, I'm pretty sure it's better points cost for grotesques per dollar value. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure it's better. And then obviously paint engines. You want to go paint engines because paint engines are amazing. 3 paint engines will be amazing. So go 3 of those. They're a huge amount of points. So they're, again, dollar cost will not be that crazy if you can get, especially if you get a good price on them. But yeah, that's where I'd start off with. There's not a whole lot of options. You know, I'd still say Urin or Karth as an HQ is a solid HQ. Homunculus, of course. Racks or grotesques, both are solid. Depends on what you want to go for. I like racks personally, but as I said, grotesques are good too. They have multiple wounds. They're pretty, you know, they're tough, and then paint engines. It's pretty much where to start off with. So I really hope that answers your question. But there's not, as I said, there's not a whole lot of options, but they tend to be good. Silent 82 Hill says, "Howdy, Jay. Thanks for your last comment. I thought I should share some thoughts about last GW releases. First of all, Shield of Ball, Leviathan. When I first heard about it, I was excited. Ultramarines, Imperial Troops, and Tyranids. I know I have to read too much Ultramarine novels from Graham McNeil. I actually once partied with Graham McNeil. I'll talk about that story in a different time. But I ended up just sitting beside him, having a great conversation with him. And the best part about it, I don't read. And I was just talking to him forever. And I found out afterwards, I'm like, oh, it's Graham McNeil. Cool stuff. He's a good guy. Interesting guy. Unfortunately, there are Sisters Battle and Imperial Troops versus Tyranids. Yes. Are GW going to reanimate Sisters of Battle? I hope eventually. I really do hope so. I do not know a single player who plays them. I know 2, unfortunately, and neither of them really like it. St. Celestine really got nerfed in the last update, and so did the way that Faith worked. Yeah. A few copies of this release. Is marketing First Man Wins, or sorry, how is it? Imperial Troops. Are GW going to reanimate Sisters of Battle? I do not know a single player who plays them. How is it possible that Shield of the Ball books are sold out so fast? The reason is, this is supposedly the reason. I was talking to a game store owner recently, and it's because the websites appear at different times. Apparently, this is why. apparently. I don't know for sure. The reason why it sells out so quickly in North America is because we are one of the last website updates. So they don't all appear at the same time. They don't all go live at the same time, apparently. And it's like Britain supposedly gets first access when they appear, and they sell out. So it depends on the order. I've heard this, apparently. I'm not 100% certain. This is speculation, but this is what the local store owner tells me. That by the time it hits the Canadian websites and the United States websites, because of the time zones, it's sold out. And it's been happening a lot lately with the Shield of Baal things and a lot of the books in fantasy for the end times. It's quite unfortunate because they should be easily able to keep up with the demand. And it's weird that they're creating an environment where they sell out. If you don't pre-order them day one, you're gone. Like the dice for the Blood Angel sold out in like 10 minutes. By the time it hit Canada, it was pretty much gone. So it's really unfortunate. Yeah. Uh-oh. I lost track. Uh-oh. I'm very sorry, Silent 82 Hill. I don't remember where your comment went. It doesn't appear gone. Oh, how many armies do you have, Jay? I have several. The ones that I play, now that I'm Necrons, I officially have... My 5 really studio armies are Tyranids, Orcs, Grey Knights, Dark Angels, and Necrons. Though I do have a small force of Space Marines that I have to paint up. And I recently acquired some Eldar. But I'm just for fun. It's one of my friend's armies. I'm not going to play it too much. That's about it. Are you going to collect more armies? Probably. To be honest, eventually I want to make an Imperial Knights army. J-Knights. Oh, it hurt. But yeah, Imperial Knights eventually. A whole army of them, like 4 knights in an entire army. It'd be kind of fun. How about Chaos Marines? Maybe. Nothing against them. They're not really my style. I'd probably go Demons over Chaos Space Marines, but they're not bad. Nothing against them. But it's just when I started playing, my friend Andy was actually the Chaos Space Marine guy. So. The fog in your last video was a lot of fun. It seems you can breathe it? Or is the Emperor protects your lungs? Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was a special effect. Just like I can add dust into videos as well. But I'm not going to in this one. Hey, Lord Craigo says, "Hey Jay, thanks for answering my question last time about the Ultramarines dislike. I was just wondering, what do you think was the worst bit of lore or story that Games Workshop has come out so far? And 2, do you think they should ever revive the Emperor later on in the story?" I think they should kill him. To be honest. Personally, I don't want them to, but I think it would be funny watching an army of Gretchens trying to take him down. Thanks for all the great videos, and hope to see many soon. Kind regards, Dan. Thank you very much, Lord Craigo. Lord Craigo. Sorry it's late. Lord Craigo, thank you very much for your comment. Worst piece of fluff? Honestly, the stuff they did with the Tyranids was kind of like salt on the wound. When they wrote the fluff, they're like, the Doom of Malantai is a mysterious one. He got left behind on a planet, and that's why there's no more of him. We're all like, you just removed him from the Codex. Don't justify that. But honestly, the total fluff that I didn't like was the Necrons Codex, 5th edition Necrons. When they went from this, I really loved them when they were like the mysterious robotic live army going mysteriously around the universe, killing stuff. I'm like, oh, cool, mysterious robotic army. Then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, they're farmers who got their souls kind of taken away by a god? What? They're best friends with the Blood Angels? They like to collect things? It just kind of removed the mysterious nature of them and kind of made them like, I don't know, less fun. Like, they're not less fun, less interesting. You know? And another piece of fluff that I thought was really weird was Drago kind of was, when the Demons Codex came out in 6th edition, it was kind of hinted that Drago was a puppet of Tzeentch. I thought that was kind of interesting. So, yeah. But I actually think they should kill him. Kill the, this sounded really bad, me just changed on it. I think they should kill the Emperor. Because the way that they progressed the story with the end times has really revitalized fantasy. So if they jump the story and Emperor's dead, I think it would really jumpstart the story for 40k again. Headshots. Says, Jay, I think your computer is thinking too hard. I smell smoke. Yeah. Liam A says, greetings from Scotland, Jay. Greetings, Liam A. I like Scotland. I once backpacked Scotland for summer. It was one of the best memories I have when I was younger. Amazing time. You know, I went all over the country, all the way up to Orkney. Went to the brewery up in Orkney, Highland Park, the whiskey distillery. You know, I went to Isla. I went to Skye. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Glasgow, Edinburgh. You know. Mm-hmm. Also, my favorite comedian is from Scotland, Billy Connolly. Just random fact. I just want your thoughts on my favorite army, the Raven Guard. I love their lore and their style, but feel they're a little weak on the tabletop if you play to their fluff. That's true. It really is. Their fluff lists don't tend to be very competitive. Any thoughts on how you would buff or improve the Raven Guard? Better special rules, essentially. But yeah, the problem is when you take Raven Guard, it's like the fluffy lists don't have any of the competitive things of the, you know, you're not really running the grab weapon spam or anything. Unfortunately, the best way is to back off the themed list. But that sucks though, because you're playing Raven Guard, you want to play the theme, right? So, but that's unfortunately, Mr. Liam A. is, do I have my codex here? Unfortunately, I don't have my codex here, I'm very sorry. But the Blood Ravens, they're not bad. You know, not Blood Raven, Raven Guard. They're not bad at all. They just, of all the love, like they didn't get as much love as the White Scars or the Ultramarines, I found, or as the Salamanders. It's very unfortunate. Sorry about that, Liam A. Metalhead Tribe. This is fun. I'm doing this Q&J. It's like 11:45. It's now 12:20 in the morning. I'm having a great time. It's been okay. I just filmed my my painting with Jay, and if I answer my answers are groggy, it's okay because I'm working most of the day tomorrow. I'm working a lot on Fridays, so that's why. Great stuff as always. Says Metalhead Tribe. Don't let the negative power gamers troll get to you. Thank you. I don't let them. I have a good time, regardless, win or lose, right? Win or lose. I've actually filmed several battle reports lately, where you'll watch the armies and you go, "Oh, Jay brought a fun list," and then the opponent brought a little bit more stronger of a list. But it's okay. Like, I have a great time. It's not about winning to me. I prefer have a great time getting to know my opponents, know their story, know all about their army, why do they choose it, and just film and try to capture the fun of the game. That's my goal. Gaming is for fun, and you understand that. Can't wait to see your updates and it's keep it up. Yes. Just end of February, when I get back from Vegas. I'm going to Vegas for a little bit, but not long. Vegas. Gonna go see Penn and Teller. Sebastian Jelstrom says, "Hi Jay, what do you think of the Tyranid Neurothrope? I like it. It's good. I think it's a solid upgrade. I think if you tend to take Zoanthropes, a squad of 5 with a Neurothrope could really help. The Neurothrope is pretty cool. The Focus Witchfire ability, and then it gives you more focus, more psychic points. So it's pretty good. I think it's solid. Now, no, it's not a Doom. It is nowhere as good as the Doom, in the sense that the Doom used to just drop in, and it was a passive power that happened during both phases, like my phase and your phase, both at the beginning after the movement. So you drop him in, and you get 2 mind drains before your opponent could really do anything about it. Versus now, where it's an active psychic power that only happens during your psychic phase, and your opponent can negate it. But I still think it's a solid option, and the fact that they brought him with the drop pod is just beautiful, and it's bringing Tyranids back to a good level in 40k. Also, I have to be precise, but Typhus is not a Primarch. No, he isn't. Did I say he was a Primarch? Did I say Typhus? I meant Mortarius. Good question. Sorry, it's so long ago. Which you kind of implied when I asked you about your favorite Primarch from Forge World. You're probably thinking of Mortarion. Yes, I was thinking of Mortarion. I'm sorry. I don't remember what I said. You're probably very much right, and I slipped up. I think, did I say Typhus? Maybe I was just talking about the new Typhus model that just been released. It was my mistake. Yeah, I would have probably meant Mortarion is my guess. But it was about a month ago. But thank you very much for pointing that out. You are right. Typhus is not a Primarch. So if I did say he was, my bad. For sure. Mortarion's cool though. I like him. Also, the smoke in the video was cool, but became a little bit too much in the beginning. It happens. Archon Timatron. How's it going, Archon Timatron? I've been watching some of your vids. Yeah. I've been subscribed to Archon Timatron for a while. He puts up a lot of content. It's been pretty cool. I really like the, as I said in my last video, I really like the getting to know your opponent series. It tends to be the most informative to me. I get the most out of it, out of all of Archon Timatron's videos. But Archon Timatron says, you're right, I do have a beard. Well, yeah. I wasn't lying. You do have a beard. Mm-hmm. And I just got a haircut too. Good job. I gotta get one. It's been like, last time I got a haircut I was getting ready for Gen Con. So, I should get one. I probably don't have time before the end of the year. So, it happens. Maybe Monday. We'll see. I tried to make those vids have some cool info for everyone, not just Dark Eldar. Exactly, that's the thing. A lot of your videos are really Dark Eldar focused, which is very great because it's your primary army, as you pointed out. But I found that the Know Your Opponent is more focused, it's much more general, and I get more out of it. So I'm glad there was something there for you. Yep. I am compiling a load of quotes from famous wargamers, so check your Facebook inbox. Sure. I don't remember the message from you. This was like a month ago. Edit. There's a new Know Your Army up now on Grey Knights. What did you think? What did I miss? You dressed it pretty well. They're, you know, as you said, they're basically an elite army. Force weapons. You know, don't bring a lot of monstrous creatures because they're gonna kill them. You know, they negate feel no pain. Anyway, all the best. Thanks for the support. No problem, Archon Timatron. Joseph Burton says, hey Jay, it's starting to get really cold around here. It's starting to get cold around here too. Canada. Meh. And people don't understand this. I'm actually in a location, I'm in central Canada now, technically central. But southern Ontario, no, sorry, I'm in central Ontario. Southern Ontario is actually more south than a lot of places in the States. Like, it's not, you know, deep south or anything, but it's actually more southern than a lot of the lines, because the 49th parallel, which is most states go by, at the top part, you know, southern Ontario is actually much lower. So we tend to get, you know, interesting weather. We're close to Buffalo, but we get pretty cold now. And I was wondering if you spray prime minis when it's below freezing. Yes, no, but I don't do it outside, no. I do it in my workshop. I work inside in a heated workshop. Don't spray prime miniatures when it's freezing out because it cracks. The problem is the paint solidifies too quickly, and well, for me at least, it tends to really crack really badly. Wondering which GW shop do you go to? The Ajax one? Yes. The only one I've been to, now lately I've been ordering directly and having it shipped if I order enough product, but when I do get an order to pick up, I go to the Ajax location. Or is there one closer? I don't know about, no, Ajax is closest. Anyways, thanks for answering. I love your channel. Keep being awesome. Thank you very much, Joseph Bird. Lads Lounge says, what's up, J-Man? Just a quickie again. Do you think they will release more models for other 7th edition stuff too? I would like to see more models for Dark Eldar. Most needed is some plastic incubi. There's loads of rumors flying around about plastic sisters too. This is a lot to talk about. Sisters of Battle. That's gonna be in the topic today. Sisters of Battle. The holidays, Sisters of Battle, smoke. What do you think I would, if they did, I really think I would give them a go. What about you? Totally. Sisters are a great, you know what? As I said, sisters don't get any love. They don't get any love from Games Workshop. You know, they don't get love from the sisters. And the thing is about Sisters of Battle, if they got half the love that Games Workshop gives to, you know, Space Marines and Orcs, I think they'd be a great army. They have some great, interesting fluff behind them. And they have some cool rules. It's just the problem is the models suck. Not really, you know what I'm saying. The models, they're all metal. They're all special order. You know, you order blisters of one model at a time. Like, they're so expensive to order. So if GW made a plastic kit, they'd be amazing. And plus, there'd be some great conversions between the plastic kits of Games Workshop for the Sisters and, like, Imperial Guard. You could make some cool combinations. It'd be great. I'd give Sisters a try, for sure. Barry Sanders says... Jared Saunders. I have the Tyranid Codex on iPad, and it hasn't updated yet. They still haven't updated the Dark Elder Codex with the post-FAQs yet. Oh. Interesting. Role-playing game. Says, hey Jay, I really wanted to say thanks for promoting the White Dwarf reviews last Q&J. No problem, role-playing game. I did have a problem. I had to put a link in for you because your YouTube channel is not... If you type in role-playing game, it just wouldn't come up for some reason. Really means a lot. You're making me work harder on them. No problem. But my cues today don't really have anything to do with White Dwarf. I just wanted to say thanks. No problem. I think I love raising up other channels because when I started, there wasn't a lot of other. I'm not an old fart in the YouTube miniature wargaming circuit. I technically am, but I wasn't raised up very much. Now I was randomly found by Dave at Mini Wargaming, but I am on a very similar idea than Chung from WGC, the Wargamers Consortium. Chung believes in raising the wargaming community up. Rather than putting other channels down and seeing people as competition, he really believes in raising the community up. And that's one of the things I like the most about Chung. And I really agree with that too. So I will hype any channel. You know, I don't see us channels as competition. We're all a community, and we're a small community, which means we have to stay strong. Yes. Q the first. I noticed you said you were hooked on collecting armies. Yes. Well, I'm in the same boat. I started with Necrons. Now for my birthday, all I asked for is Tyranids. So basically my question is, any advice for a swarm horde army of Nids? Hormagons and Termagants are so far what I'm focusing on. I'm thinking of grabbing a Turbogon and maybe a Sporocyst so I can spawn both Gaunts and Spore Mines. Thoughts? If you're going pure horde, you Turbogons because they can produce more Gaunts. But I still prefer giant squads of Hormagons. Hormagons are by far the best. The more I play them, the more I love them. They're the best troop choice, by far. Hormagons with Toxin Sacs. And the reason why I say Toxin Sacs is because they will kill any living thing. They will. Now, they're weak as heck against vehicles and walkers, but that's not what the Troops Choice is meant for in Tyranids. There is no Troops Choice that is good against walkers, and there's no Troops Choice that is really good against vehicles, right? There's not a lot of guns available to the Troops Choices. Tyranid Warriors are a great Troops Choice only because they have Synapse, so they keep your other guys in line, and if you attach a Tyranid Prime to them, they get a better weapon skill, ballistic skill. But they're a good Troops Choice too, but like, Jane Stealers aren't very good. You know, I wouldn't take Ripper Swarms. And then there's like waves and waves of Tyranid Gaunts are cool too. So if you really like them, go with a Turbogon. They're not as good as they once were, but they'll still keep your Horde army alive. As far as that goes, drop pods filled with 20 Gaunts with Devourers. Ouch. 60 shots, you know, 30 hits, 15 wounds. It'll kill some stuff. It'll kill a few Terminators, you know, it'll do some serious wounds. So that's about it. As I said, for Horde army, you pretty much have to go Turvagons, because they keep producing Gaunts, we keep producing Gaunts. You have the choice, you can do the 3 squads of 30 Gaunts with 3 Turvagons. I think that's a little crazy. Hormagons to me are just amazing. I really love Hormagons with Toxin Sacs. And if you really want to go pure Horde, Gargoyles. Gargoyles. Squads of 30 Gargoyles with Toxin Sacs. Also pretty crazy in 7th edition. Yep. Town Coyote? Tobin Coyote? Something Coyote. Hey there, Jay. I had a question about finding places to play 40K. I started about a year ago, and now I have 3,500 points of Tyranids and 1,500 points of Dark Elder. Great. Yet, I have played the games less than 10 times. There isn't a GW store within 100 miles of me, and the only game local store doesn't have a 40K player base. Two of my friends play, but it's like pulling teeth to get them over for games, and it's just boring to play the same people all the time. I agree. So how do you recommend to go about finding other players? Facebook. Use media. Facebook is great. Like, that's how I connected with the Peterborough gaming community. Facebook. Facebook media. You just use online media. Look for local tournaments. There's got to be some. If people play, people will try to play tournaments. Tournaments are very popular still, even these days. So find out where the tournaments are playing. Because if you just type in Warhammer 40K tournaments and then your area, you might find a store that maybe like 2 towns over that you just didn't think about, that where all the tournaments are being held. And then you go to tournaments and you meet new gamers, and then that's you make new gamer friends. That or social media, for sure. Even Kijiji. I've seen people post ads to find other players on Kijiji, so it'll all work. Clearwater. Big Poppy 7718 says, "Hey Jay, I have a question about thinning old Citadel paints from early to mid 90s. The ones in the P3 style pots. I still have some of them, and some of them are still decent. Found old paints in storage, all still good. Newer Citadels, all dried out." Really? Oh. My question is specifically about Citadel inks thinning to more of a wash consistency. Water made it too watery. So looking for something to thin down, which I found video from Awesome Paint Job from 5 years ago, but he was using pen inks. Not sure if it's the same. Any help would be appreciated. I would use a glazed medium. No, actually it would be for paints. Sorry, I'm thinking to myself. That's how you make your own inks. I'd use a glazed medium. Unfortunately, there really isn't much that I've seen to thin down Citadel inks other than water, and that's it. I've seen a couple people try alcohol, but it was very, very mixed results. I wouldn't recommend them. You could try mineral spirits. I don't know if that would work. I could be recommending something wrong. Let me think to myself for a second. What else? What other mediums could you use? Glazed medium wouldn't work very well. You could try airbrush thinner, but again, I don't think it would work too well. Unfortunately, the only thing I ever use is just water. A tiny drop of water to thin down the shades. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the old inks, so the consistency is a little foreign to me at the moment. Sorry about that. I wish I could answer your question. People, if you know the answer to this question, please leave a comment in the comment section down below about ways to thin your paints. I just use water, typically, to thin down inks. Not paints, but the shades in the washes. Alfarius Omegon says, "Jay, 2 questions here." Cool. Let me see. Whoa, something's happening with my computer. Uh-oh, I go back. Jay, 2 questions. What is your favorite type of Doritos? Cool Ranch. I recently tried those, what are they called? Russian roulette chips, so the roulette Doritos. Wow, that one chip, that's the spicy one, it hurt. I don't take spicy food very well. It hurt. I don't eat Doritos a lot because I am actually allergic to MSG. And Doritos have a lot of MSG in them. But if I was to choose a flavor, Cool Ranch. What is your opinion on Blood Angels, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, etc. being their own codex? Completely for it. Completely for it. I don't see a reason why not. They are different enough, typically, that they warrant their own codex. You know? I don't mind them getting their own codex. It's especially with Grey Knights and Space Wolves, they're very different from I'd say Dark Angels and Blood Angels have more of the same, like they're almost the same marine, different color. But Space Wolves and Grey Knights are very different with their schemes. But I don't mind. I think it's okay. And obviously there's a Blood Angel Codex. How do you feel if they started to do the same thing with Chaos Codexes? I think it would be brilliant. They kind of have. There was, a couple supplements. But that'd be great. A, they'd make more money. B, it brings more coin in. It makes if you make armies more original, it would make people want to play them. It gives them their character. Iteration. Oh, sorry. I think there were 2 questions. Whoa. That was the second one. Iteration 0 says, regarding the question of what you would like to see with NIDS, I would like, number 1, something along the line of Biovore upgrade that would allow Skyfire. Completely awesome, and I agree with that. Wouldn't have help making existing things. Number 2, another option, just shooting at armor with a decent chance of actually destroying a vehicle. Cheaper crack missiles like add-ons warriors. Zoans are excellent. I completely agree. Zoans could be a predator equivalent, like Exocrine. Zoans are excellent if they get range and the shot off. However, can be stopped with denial dice. My 2 cents. Very good point, iteration. Essentially, the 2 options really for popping vehicles from a distance, you have the 3 options. Terran effects, 2 shots, strength 10 gun, hopefully you hit, hopefully you pen, hopefully you destroy it. Hive Guard will pen certain vehicles, but they won't pop anything. Like they'll pen it to death, but they won't blow up a vehicle because they have no AP. And then Zoanthropes, with their squads of 6 now, squads of 5 or 6 in a drop pod. And hope they don't deny your witch, because then it'll go off and they'll pop things, and it's an AP, so it'll blow up things. Oh, I'm losing my voice. Iteration 0. For those armies that get walked on in the psychic phase, i.e. Necrons, Orcs, Dark Eldar, I would like to see a deny on 5+ on Boundless only. It wouldn't be right to keep that ability if you joined Eldar or some other force that has a psychic character. True. Other options could be add D3 to the result of the first player's roll, or instead of 4+ counting as a success, make the roll 5+. I like that. Well, last one against Dark Eldar and Necron for fluff reasons. Good idea. Exactly, it's hard. Because a lot of armies have no way of dealing with Psychers. Like Sisters and Orcs and Dark Eldar and Necrons, as you mentioned. Like they really know. It's really hard for them. They really do get walked all over. Especially their armies that have no Psychers. Orcs barely have a Psycher. Shane says, hi Jay, thanks for answering my question on second phase. You mentioned you need to build up your Dread Knight. Yes, I do. Would be cool if you did a painting tutorial on it once built. I agree. I followed your Drago tutorial for painting on my own Drago and I'm really pleased with how it came out. So thanks. No problem. I'm really glad you appreciate it. I'm glad you got work. That's one of my older tutorials. It's one of my very first tutorials. So I'm really glad people are still getting use out of it. Juan Rafael Bascopi Morales says, hey Jay, thanks for answering my question. No problem. Thanks for having such a cool name. I'm searching for a tutorial for painting Necron monoliths. Do you know anyone? Yes, actually, I put one in the warp. If you have the access to do a 14-day free trial, even if you don't want to subscribe, and that one's in there. I did the normal standard color scheme with using primarily airbrushes. That was my Necron November painting challenge. So I'd recommend going. Unfortunately, I just have to hype. I did one for the warp. But if you have a chance, go check it out. Even if you want to do a free trial, 14 days, you can watch all my videos. You may have all your time for 14 videos. Watch all my painting tutorials, and then if you don't want to stay, no pressure. I've searched everywhere. Also, do you think that it's possible that an army box is released for Sisters of Battle? Sisters of Battle! It's just Adepta Sororitas galore. That's gonna be the name of this one. Sisters of Battle. Yes. I do. Eventually, they're going to get their gear together about Sisters. And when they do, there will be a box. There's been a box for every new Codex update. They've been releasing these new battle forces. They typically be more expensive, but more models in them. I could totally see them doing it for Sisters of Battle. My friend says it's impossible. because it would be too expensive, and also sisters don't have that many models. What do you think? They have to release new kits. It would only happen if they release plastic kits, because they will not do a box full of metals. That's just too expensive. I agree. As always, great job. Love the show. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think they'd have to release new kits, for sure. Master Doylan says, "Hi Jay, thank you for your answer on my previous question. A cue for this week. What do you think we will see a full plastic Adepta Sororitas release with hardcover codex in the future?" It's so weird. My guess, if they did it, April of next year at the earliest. We're out of 7th edition. There's really not that many 6th edition codices, or sorry, 5th edition codices left. We have Necrons, and we have Adepta Sororitas, being a 5.5, a 6, you know, whatever version it is. And then we're at 6th edition codices. We're really done. So I could see them doing it next year, first quarter, first third of the year, if they do it at all, which I really hope they do. Because Necrons are next. Necrons, I'm solid, are next. And then after that, I could totally see them doing Sisters, because there's not really anything else to do. Like, then they could go Dark Angels or Chaos Marines, and they're 6th edition, so. I hope that Sororitas will return to the tabletop. I agree. Hi, Jay. This is by Andrew McCormick. In regards to the Dark Elder question, I'm eating up my options between Raiders and Venoms. I think Raiders are a better choice due to the weapons, but everyone I speak recommends Venoms. Why? Just the number of shots. They DACA your opponent to death. You know? And a lot of the squad sizes, it depends, because a lot of people like to run small squad sizes, which are perfect for Venoms, since they are, you know, their points cost and they're designed for small squads. So if you want to run small squads, go Venoms, but if you're running like large squads of guys, I love Raiders myself. But again, people like to DACO your opponents to death versus the... it depends on what your opponents are running, but if they're running hordes, you know, Venoms get so many more shots. Also, I'm looking to take some Dark Elder to go with my Corsairs. I'm thinking Witches and Falcons. Is there a good way to run Witches anymore? Or should I take Cavalite Warriors instead? I don't really know. To be honest, I don't see many competitive lists with Witches anymore these days. Cavalite Warriors seem to be hands down the more preferred troops choice. Jasper Larson says... Wow, lots of questions. Hi Jay, thanks for entering my queue. Please keep doing what you like. I believe that this is the best way to do what you are doing on YouTube. People watch you because you do things the way that you do them. Thank you. If you are not in it at all, you will lose more followers than yourself. That's true. Remember, you will always lose and gain people. And there will be many different reasons for it. So keep up the good work, and thank you for being you. Thank you very much. You know, that's really appreciated, Jasper Larson. I really appreciate that comment. I really do. Because, sorry, my voice is just a little shot now. But it really doesn't matter a lot, because a couple of times lately there have been some mass unsubscriptions. It happens. But I'm going to keep making videos and working hard and doing the best content that I can. So it really does mean a lot. Thank you very much. Axis762 says, "Hey Jay, I'm new to painting. I went off your miniature painting 101 and would like your opinion about my progress. How would I go about sending you pictures? Also, how's Mandy doing?" Not amazingly. Mandy is not doing amazingly. I don't really want to get into it too much, but she's not 100%. But if you want to send me photos, contact me at jaydidproductions.com. JAYDID Productions. It's the name of, you'll see in some of my contact information on my YouTube page, but j@jaydidproductions. And you can email me pictures, and I would love to check them out and get back to you, for sure. Andrew McCormick says, oops, sorry, last question, I promise. Coven lists don't have a troop option, so I'm assuming for all intents and purposes they are unbound, as they can't benefit from the objective secured rule. Yep, you're correct. If so, you might as well take some fast attack options if you have the points. Scourges would fit with the theme, and as they are paying their debt to the Coven for their wings. Good point. Very good point. Andrew McCormick. Mini Warzone says, "Hi Jay, love your channel. Thank you very much, Mini Warzone. Great viewing. Quick question for you. Can you give me any tips on breathing new life into old paints? I.e. ones that haven't been used for a while. Got some from a friend, and some of them are okay, but others are a bit on the thick side. Sort of like the GW dry paints. Although that's not really what they're for. Any advice is much appreciated. Alright, it's actually possible to renew them, but you got to work really hard. You essentially have to like grind up the pigments again if you want to do it properly, and then add a medium. But it's possible. You just got to, as I said, you got to add a medium, but take some time and grind up. If you can grind it back into more of a, almost like pigments. You know what I'm saying, like the pigments for things. That if you do it properly. I've seen Chris from Mini Wargaming do it once, but he said you have to grind them up essentially, and then you can add medium. Now, if they're on the dry side, you can just simply add a medium, like a little bit of airbrush thinner medium, and that will do the trick a little bit. But to do it properly, unfortunately, it takes time. Grind them up, back into pigments, add a new medium, and then even just a normal acrylic medium. Acrylic medium is actually what I'd recommend. Just normal acrylic medium that you can get at a hobby store, and then use that as a medium. So you add that back to your paints, and if you mix it properly, you'll be able to get some paint out of it. Just go a little slowly and surely with the medium. You don't want to go too heavy, because if you add too much, you're in trouble. So a little bit at a time until you get the consistency that you desire. Thank you very much for your question, Mini Warzone. Bowman Ratu says, "Hey Jay, I'm a new subscriber, and this is the first Q&J I watched, so I'm sorry if you've already answered this question." No problem. Feel free to ask the question. I'm just starting out with 40k and building a Chaos army for my army. I bought a set of cultists first to look if it actually liked building and painting the models. Then I bought the Dark Vengeance starter set, and I'm working on changing the Dark Angel figures into Chaos style. Okay, that's cool. Keeping the same stats, only altering their looks and colors and unifying look. I also bought a Chaos Predator tank. My first question is now, what should I add, remove to make an effective army? So where can I find the info? I need to make a good selection myself. Closest store that sells the Chaos Codex to me is 4-hour drive, and it is sold out 9 out of 10 times. So first thing I would check is online. Go on forums. If you're trying to learn what really works for an army, go on forums. Like Mini Wargaming has a great forum where people talk about armies, and Chaos Space Marines is their own forum where people can talk about what really works, what doesn't work. If you're playing in a super competitive environment, a Helldrake, they're still solid in 7th edition. They're a good flyer. Besides that, Chaos Marines, it's essentially you have to go what kind of theme list are you going with. You said you have cultists. More cultists. You know, Typhus is a really good choice if you're running a lot of cultists, because you make zombie cultists, and they're really nasty in the game. Hellbrutes are okay, as you'll find if you play a lot of the games with your Dark Vengeance starter set. What else? I really like, not Mutilators, I really like the, sorry, I'm going to grab them. Let's go Chaos Space Marines for a second. So let's go through this. Chaos Space Marines, let's start off with. Basically, you got to choose your HQs. So HQs, Demon Prince, not bad at all. I really like Abaddon. Abaddon is my favorite HQ. He'll probably become a Lord of War when they get their new codex eventually, because Abaddon will destroy almost anything in close combat. He is so nasty. So nasty. But he's a great HQ. He's typically run in a lot of competitive lists, I find. Other options could be a Sorcerer if you're trying to go Psyker, or just simply, not Sorcerer, as I said. What was the other one? Or Typhus. Go Typhus if you're trying to bring zombie cultists. As for elites, what I find is the elite section, it's kind of leaving something to be desired a lot of the time. Plague Marines are still very popular these days. Out of all the factions I see, Plague Marines tend to be the most used, I find. They tend to be used a lot because they're feel no pain and they're high toughness. As far as troops go, You know, you either go cultists or Chaos Space Marines. Up to you, whichever one. You know, they're both solid choices. Hordes and hordes of cultists are hilarious, but Chaos Space Marines are good too. If you're trying to go, you know, Space Marines, you may want to take a dedicated transport like a Chaos Rhino. And then for heavy support, fast attack, Helldrake. And then for fast attacks, I really like Obliterators. That's what I was thinking of. Obliterators are, people, you know, leave comments on what you think, but I like Obliterators and Defilers. They both have a lot of shooting options. Defilers have so many guns, and they have the Pipeblade of Doom. It's Dave from Mini Wargame's favorite model. And Obliterators can change their weapons every turn, so they always have, they're like a Swiss Army knife. They can always choose something to take out a certain thing of your opponents. So they're a good choice too. I really hope that it helps. Space Marine Land Raider, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of. So that basically what I would break down to for Chaos Space Marines. Yes. And then I said you should get the Codex. Worst comes to worst, order the Codex online. Some game stores will have it shipped to you. You can still order from some game stores. You just have to do it over the phone. I do it over the phone, for example, or Games Workshop have it shipped to your house. Neurogul's Grin says, "Hey Jay, I need some help. I have 2 boxes of the new Tyrannocyte Sporocyte kits. I don't know what I should build. One of each, or just 2 Tyrannocytes? What do you guys think I should do? Is the Sporocytes worth having?" I don't know. 2 drop pods, to me, it might be the minimum for a competitive list for Tyranids. I'd actually personally go 2 Tyrannocytes over Sporocytes. Sporocytes are good too, but they have a... I think basically 2 Tyrannocytes with either Gaunts, a monster creature, like the new monster creatures that came out, but my favorite combination is Zone Throws. 2 drop pods will really help because you can drop in your enemy zones. They don't scatter too much, and it helps you destroy stuff. You can get that Alpha Strike on your opponent, turn 2, and really prevent yourself a lot of damage. So I personally, I'm gonna hopefully get up to 2 or 3 Tyrannocytes, maybe 3 in some of my lists, because to me they bring so much more strategy and strategy and flavor back into the Tyranids. House of Geek says, "Hey Jay, Matt here from Derbyshire, England." Hey Matt. "I've always wanted to put up videos on YouTube, but I don't know where to start. I've got 25 years of gaming knowledge," that's great, "and think I could do some good, but I'm not great with computers and have only basic video making skills. What would be a good way to start? Thanks. Keep up the good work, Jay." First of all, you got to get a camera, obviously. Where to start? The 3 things that make a video. Number 1, you need to have information or something, especially about our hobby. It has to be either entertaining or informative, for sure. Go whichever. Like battle reports are most of the time for me entertaining, and they can also be informative. Painting tutorials, informative, right? I learn a lot from tutorials. That's the key. So either I have to have information or be really entertaining. B, lighting. Make sure that you have good lighting in your videos. You know, it really helps. This lighting, you can see me well, it really does make a good video. As far as video cameras go, cheap HD cameras, they now run like $200 and something. You go like Black Friday sales or Boxing Day sales, you can get them in the 100s now. The HD, I run a 720p HD camera. That's the minimum HD. I don't run 1080. That's just giant files. As far as file software, file editing, the 2 that I find to be the most intuitive are iMovie. For if you have a Mac, the free software iMovie, it's actually where I started making my videos on. It's it's really intuitive, and there's tons of tutorials online. If you have any questions, there's tons of Mac forums that will help you. The other one is Sony Vegas Pro. It's the one that Mini Wargaming uses, and it's really intuitive, super easy to use. It's not hard at all. It's very user-friendly, and it's not very expensive at all. I think a license is like $70 Canadian, so it's not very much at all, and it's very intuitive. So I'd recommend it's there. So I hope that helps. I really do. But definitely, you know, and feel free to post things when you start making videos here. Gabe Vapors. So Jay, could you please explain briefly Infinity and Malifaux compared to 40K? Gladly. Eventually, I would like to give another mini tip game a remix. Any suggestions for another 40k like game? Well, basically, all right. The top 4 games. I don't think Flames of War is really. You know, here are the games. If you are a big tabletop gamer, 40k fantasy, obviously. Then you have War Machine and Hordes. Then you have Infinity, and you have Malifaux. Those are essentially, between those 4, the majority of the players in the world cover those 4 games. You know, they're big name games. War Machine Hordes is a very strategic game. Order very much matters, and it's not a forgiving game. It is very much a competitor's game, and it's basically find the best combination of things that work together in synergy and destroy your opponent. And basically, the purpose of a game just for those, I don't know what you didn't ask me about War Machine Hordes, but I'm just going to discuss them briefly. Basically, in 40k, we have a thing called Slay the Warlord. In War Machine and Hordes, the game either ends. There's no set game length, so it's not turn 5 you roll. The game either ends when the objective has been fulfilled. So if it's like first one to 5 points, a player gets 5 points. It could take 10 turns. It could take 15 turns. It could take 2 turns. Or you kill your opponent's warlord, which is their warlock or their caster, the person who has all the spells in your army. So it's not very forgiving. It tends to be those who are really competitive and really love a challenge. They love War Machine and Hordes. What else? Sorry, but then we go to Malifaux and Infinity. Now, the big difference between Infinity and 40k is it's played with d20s, not d6. Not 6-sided dice, 20-sided dice. Huge change. Number 2, it's a skirmish game. You typically run between 6 and 8 models in a competitive game. A tournament game, you'll probably see 7 or 8 models, max. Right? Not many models. So it's a skirmish game, very small. Smaller table size, and also the terrain is very, very, very close-knit. It's futuristic, but the terrain will have gaps this big between it. And that's where the people go. Another huge dynamic is, as the saying of the game goes, it's always your turn. Everybody has a reaction to your opponent's action. And what I'm saying is, like in 40k, I can walk up to my opponent and shoot them in the face, right? Because I'm shooting them in the face. It's my shooting phase. I shoot them. They die. The only time that we really have an interaction is the assault phase, where I try to assault you, you assault me. Infinity, by me just crossing your path, and if you can see me, you can shoot me in my own turn. That's why it's always your turn. So you have to be very much aware. You guys always got to keep track of where your opponents are moving, because if your opponent crosses your line, you can shoot them. If your opponent turns to shoot you, you can also shoot them. And what frequently happens this happens a lot in Infinity, is that if your opponent rolls terribly and you tend to roll well, you will kill your opponent, or one of their good shooting guys, in their own turn. And they're in trouble now because they crossed your guy and you killed them. And now they're in trouble because they lost one of their good guys. So that's one of the huge things, one of the big differences. And also in Infinity, it tends to be designed around, they're all human factions based around certain world locations, right? They have the British, which are the Pan-Oceania kind of thing. They have the Scottish, which are the nomads. The Asians, which are the Yujings. You can kind of tell by the names. They're pretty like racial, kind of stereotypical. Haq Islam is the Islam group, the new Islam group. And there's also an aliens. There's a group of aliens called the Combined Army, because they're a bunch of different alien races combined as the same army. So that's them. So go check them out. They're pretty cool. Malifaux. I don't play a lot of Malifaux, but Malifaux, one of the cool things about Malifaux is that it doesn't use dice at all. It's all cards. So you get cards, specifically for your army. It's like a deck of cards, like a standard deck of cards. And basically, you draw a certain number of cards in your hand, and when you're attacking, you play a card. And your opponent plays a card to defend against your attack. And essentially, you add up some stats, and whoever's number is better wins. Your opponent can defend it or after you. But what's really cool about Malifaux is it's called cheating. And it literally is basically cheating. I could be like, I play a 7. And then 7 plus my strength might be actually lower than your defense plus their card. So I would lose. My attack would do nothing. And I'm like, I'm going to cheat. Whoever loses that battle can choose to cheat and replace a card from their hand and put that down instead. Right? So I'm like, oh, I'm going to lose. I cheat. And then your opponent could be like, oh, no, I'm losing. I'm going to cheat too. And then it ends there. But it's kind of fun. So, and the models are really evil. The thing is about Malifaux is that the models are really evil. Everything looks really, it's a really dark and twisted universe. And everything's very evil-y looking. It's very disturbed looking. It's very twisted. There's not really a good guy. Everyone's kind of evil. So, Malifaux. Cool game, though. Evil. Last question. Fox General says, I was wondering if it would be viable to play Imperial Guard with Gene Stealer's allied group for close combat. Not really. It's good fluff-wise because they don't even have a Gene Stealer cult, but Gene Stealers are not good in close combat. If you're relying on Gene Stealers in close combat, you're going to be in trouble. Now, they do hit hard if they hit at all, but my biggest problem with Gene Stealers is the fact that they have a 5-up save, they don't have grenades, and they have infiltrate and outflank, but they can't assault the turn they come in. And they can, it doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, so all your opponent does, Gene Stealers are the easiest thing to deal with. All you do is stay in cover. And so when your Gene Stealers assault them, they're going to overwatch you. And every overwatch will probably kill you because they're 5-up armor save. And they die. They die really easily. And then in close combat, you go second. Like the Gene Stealers get to go second because they all assaulted in through cover, right? So they don't have grenades. So they go initiative 1 and they get really beaten to death really easily. They're probably the easiest troop choice to deal with of all Tyranids. I'd say way the easiest, other than Ripper Swarms. But they're very easy to deal with. All you just stay in cover and shoot them, they die. And when they try to assault in, you overwatch, they die. And then they assault in, they have no grenades, they go at initiative 1, and then you punch them in the face. And they have a 5-up armor save. So like even if you wound them, 1 and 3 are going to survive. So really hope that answers your questions. So that's it. That's today's Q&J, people. It's done. It's like 1 in the morning. That's so cool. I'm losing it, but it's awesome. So thank you so much for being positive and for requesting Q&J. It's not a dead series. I'm going to keep doing this as much as I can, and I really appreciate your patience in waiting for this episode. And please leave your comments in the comment section down below of what you thought. Adepta Sororitas is going to be the name of this title. It's probably like Adepta Sororitas, Sisters of Battle, Adepta Sororitas. And I wish you guys all have a great holiday season. This is probably going to be one of my last videos of the year. I don't know if I'm going to be coming back the last week of December or the first week of January. We'll see. But I wish you all a very safe, happy, healthy holiday season with your loved ones, and have a great time and play some games. Have a great time. So I wish you all the best. Please leave your questions in the comment section down below. You leave me more Q's to J, and I promise I'll answer them as much as I can. Now I got to go look for that base that I dropped at the beginning of the video because it actually disappeared. So until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting.